I wish I'd known when my son was diagnosed at the age of 2 exactly what autism spectrum disorder is. I was told by the doctors that my son had a disorder, that he had impaired ways of communicating and socialising. Now I see things quite differently. I've spoken to a lot of autistic adults and they tell me autism really is just a difference. It's a different way of thinking and it's a different way of experiencing the world, particularly with your senses. I assumed him being autistic meant that he wouldn't make friends, that we wouldn't be so close, him and I, that he might spend a lot of his life alone and that he might not be able to work. 5 years later, here I am to tell you that none of those things are true. He's happy at school and he is starting to make friends. Yeah, the fear that I had that autism meant an unhappy life has been completely unfounded. When I realised my son was autistic, I think I really wanted for him was to be normal, and he wasn't. And now I look back and I feel a bit embarrassed that I felt this way, because I now think, what is so great about being normal? Normal is pretty boring after all. And why would I not want my son to be his funny, intelligent, caring self? And I think if we do want our autistic children to be happy, we need to allow them to be autistic. And that means not trying to get them to do a better impression of a non-autistic person. If you're wondering how you can best support your autistic child at home or your autistic niece or nephew, I would say adding structure and predictability into their lives is the major thing you can do. For autistic people, anxiety is a major issue, and knowing what's about to happen is a huge way of counteracting that anxiety. In our case, we've come up with a predictable routine for our life. So my son does the same thing every day of the week. And for holidays, I write down what he's going to do every single day and who he's going to do it with. And we stick it up on the kitchen wall. When I'm at my organised best, if we're going to friends' house, I'll get the friends to send pictures of their living room or any of the rooms we might be in, and then I show them to my son. We have far too much just focused on what autistic people find difficult, and we haven't looked at what's they're really good at, what's lovely about autism. My son, for example, is 7, he's about to turn 8, and when I see him with his friends, I just see a real kindness there. He doesn't put them down. It would never occur to him to be mean to someone or make them feel small. With me, he never lies, even if it means he doesn't get the end result he's after. These are huge positives in my mind. I think it's important to look after yourself if you're the parent of an autistic child or a carer of an autistic child. I know when we went through the assessment process for my son, I came out of it feeling very stressed, and I wasn't really able to look at what was going on for him because I was too busy thinking about how difficult I was finding things. So for me, I found it helpful to see a therapist and accept every offer of babysitting going so I could see friends in the evening.